Alright, so quick disclaimer before the video starts. This video is going to be related to languages. So if you clicked on this video thinking that I'm going to be talking about exchange rates at a bank and etc., that's not the case. I'm going to be talking about, words and phrases and things that you should know language-wise before you go to travel. So hello everyone, this is Lanko coming in with a new episode for all of you. Alright, so recently I came back from Taipei. While I was there, I also paid a visit to Taichung. So while I was there, I noticed that there were 5 things which, if you didn't know, you'd have a really hard time getting by. So I'm going to be here telling you all what you should know before you travel. All of these phrases, all of these words which I will be mentioning are things which are pretty much essential for basic necessities while you're traveling. Without these, your life is going to be quite hard. And if you know these things before you actually go somewhere to travel, it'll make your time a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. So let's start off by talking about the greetings. Well, greetings are something essential because they show respect and they are the foundation of basic communication. You should always know how to greet people. You should always know how to say hi. You should always know how to say bye. And you should always know the correct terms and the correct ways of saying hi and bye to different people because you don't want to accidentally offend someone. Personally, that didn't happen to me while I was there because I have a pretty solid foundation in Mandarin, but I can see how someone walking by someone else without saying hi when the situation calls for it can be rude and may even cause, some awkward situations. So it's definitely necessary to learn how to say hi, how to say bye, and oh, I almost forgot to mention that you should also learn how to say thank you. Thank you is an extremely important part of basic communication, especially if you want to show gratitude in any situation. Really, it just shows that you're a nice person and that you respect the other person that you're speaking to. So if you going to another country, if you want other people to like you, you should definitely learn the word thank you. It'll make a huge impression on the other people. All right, next up, something extremely important, which I noticed while I was over in Taipei, was that you should know how to use numbers. Now, what do I mean by learning how to use numbers? You should most definitely know how to count up to the largest denomination of the money provided in the country that you're visiting. What do I mean by this? If they have bills that go up to 1,000, learn your numbers up to 1,000. If they have notes that go up to 1,000,000, learn up to 1,000,000 because it will make your life a lot easier. And I'm not just saying that just because, oh yeah, it makes your life easier. I mean this in the sense that if you know how to manage numbers and if you know how numbers work in that language, then you will have an easier time getting by, number one. But number two, you will prevent yourself from being scammed, or it'll be a lot harder for you to get scammed because you'll be able to, see the different currencies and know what they're talking about. If the lady says a number back to you in per se Mandarin, and if you don't know what she's saying, she could easily, give you less money and you just wouldn't know. Or she could tell you, oh, it's worth this much, and you could overpay and she would just not give you back your change. So it's very, very important to know numbers, particularly because it can prevent you from being scammed. And you will also know how to get the correct amounts for certain things. You won't have to be guessing everything. Additionally, you should also learn the name of the currency, or not just the name of the currency, but also the measurements. You know how in English for dollars we have the dollar, cent. You also have dimes, pennies. You should also be knowing, or you should also learn words of similar caliber in the different languages, just so that when they mention this, you know what they're talking about. All in the name of scam prevention. All right, so number 3, the third thing I'm going to be mentioning is the names of the locations you are visiting. Now, many names of locations in English are actually changed or transliterated. So if you say them in English to locals, they may not understand what you are talking about. This is a huge issue. Some people may have to take taxis. Some people may want to take public transportation. And so if you want to take these different methods of transport or transportation, you're going to want to know where you're going. And so if you ask someone where to go, and if you don't know how to pronounce or say that place properly, and people don't understand you when you say it, it's going to be quite hard to find your way there. So I think something extremely important is to learn or place names in the language in which you are going to of the land of which you are going to be visiting, because it will make your life a lot easier, and you'll be able to, have a lot easier over time asking for directions. That actually leads me up to my next topic, which is asking for directions in particular. It is essential, especially if you're going to be walking around or taking public transportation. You're going to want to be able to ask for directions. This is something which is fairly basic. It shouldn't be very hard to learn. Maybe you can spend like a few hours in one day and learn how to ask for directions. Shouldn't really take you that long. Asking for directions can be extremely useful. I shouldn't really have to explain it, but especially if you're walking on foot or in public transportation, you're going to want to ask how to get to point A or to point B, or how far this is or how far that is, or if you're in the right place, etc., because you don't want to be lost and not know how to get somewhere and no one else understands you, right? You're going to want to be able to know where you are. All right, so my fifth point will be that you should definitely learn how to say yes or no. It may come as a surprise, but this will come in handy, especially in restaurants, if they ask you if you want something. Now, of course, you may not understand everything that the waiter is asking you, but if you can pick up small bits and pieces of what she's asking you, and the waiter doesn't speak any English, then it will be very, very helpful to learn how to say yes and no. Because if you do not know how to say yes and no, they might just add something to your soup or something to your food or something to your whatever that you may not want. So per se, if you have, I don't know, like they gave you the wrong order. Although maybe you don't know how to say, you gave me the wrong order, I would like a refund, you are able to say no in that language and express your sentiment of rejection to the employees of the restaurant and say, no, I don't like this. No. Hopefully that's clear, but essentially a way to express you liking and disliking something, which is easiest conveyed by saying yes and no. It's a way to not only to express yourself, but also to get you out of some sticky situations. If you get something that you don't want, or someone is doing something and you don't want it, etc. Honorable mentions. Now, I know there's only meant to be 5 points in this video, but here I'm gonna go with the 5 with 2 honorable mentions. So it is a known fact that in different countries they use different utensils to eat. So different parts of the world may use spoons, they may use chopsticks, they may use forks, they may use whatever, the list goes on and on. There's tons of utensils to eat with. And depending on the country, they may not give you the utensils that you usually use to eat. Therefore, you're going to want to learn the words for the utensils that you usually eat with. So for myself, I would say, I would try to learn the word for spoon or for fork in a foreign language. For example, in English, in Mandarin, I would ask for 叉子. Why would I ask for a 叉子? A 叉子, which is a fork, is something which I would ask for because that's usually what I eat with, right? Long story short, if you're visiting a foreign country, learn the words for fork and spoon. Or if you are from a country which uses chopsticks, learn the word for chopsticks, etc. The list goes on, because it will make your life a lot easier and you will be able to eat in restaurants without hassle. Last but not least, something that's very important, which is also in the honorable mentions, is learn how to ask if someone speaks English. Now, once again, you don't need a phrase book. You don't need to carry around a book everywhere you go. That's just pure annoying. It's better if you just memorize a few phrases, and this is one of the very, very important phrases that you should learn. So, asking if someone speaks English. You should definitely learn how to ask if someone speaks English. Why? Because if your abilities in said language are not too strong, then you should most definitely ask if someone speaks English, or ask where you can find someone who speaks English. Reason being that if you do not find someone who speaks English and you can't express what you want in that language, you may have a very hard time getting around or avoiding certain situations, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I hope this video helps you in your travels. If anyone has any questions about my travels, just leave them down in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to answer them. This has been Lanko. I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you for watching.